underrated book recs, emotional support for the damage some of these characters give us, chaotic book updates, and cozy vibes. Honestly, what more could a girl need? Hi guys, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Ty, and this channel is really going to be like a mix of reading vlogs, cozy vibes, me definitely getting a little too emotionally attached to the characters that I'm reading, all of my little updates, life updates, reading updates, little reading vlogs in between. And so yes, welcome to my channel. I've wanted to start this channel for a really long time now because I just love the idea of having a space where I can talk about the thing that I have loved forever, reading. I have been a readaholic since I was a kid, okay? I remember sneaking under the covers reading when my mom told me to go to bed with a flashlight, and I didn't have cable growing up till I was in high school, so you can imagine that that was like my only form of entertainment. So the idea of having a space where I can come and dish about all of the books that I'm reading, show my like reading life outside of work and everything like that. I am so excited to start this channel finally. And on today's video, I thought it'd be really fun if we did like a little get to know me video, you know, kind of like exposing my opinions in the book space through these 20 questions that I have right here. Kind of like letting y'all know a little scoop about me. Not too much tea, child. We sticking to the tea for the book. Just a little bit of getting to know me, you know, through my book taste and stuff and my opinions. So to kind of see if, you know, we relate, if we vibe. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into it. Okay, so the first question is, what book made you fall in love with reading? So I'm gonna do the book that made me re-fall in love with reading. Like I said, was a heavy reader growing up. I didn't have cable. I didn't have a phone. My parents like had put cable in the house in high school for me, and I finally got a phone when I was headed to college. Oh, also, side note, no TVs in the room. We had cable in the house, but I had no TVs in the room. Only a TV downstairs and a TV in my grandma's room, because she used to live with us. So TV, what? No, entertainment was reading, and I was obsessed. I would read everywhere. It wasn't until college that I feel like I fell out of reading. As you can kind of tell from, you know, those little notes about my childhood, I was a little sheltered. So when I got to college, you know, reading was not on the forefront of my mind, honestly and truthfully. It was being outside. So I didn't really get back into reading until 2024. So since getting back into reading, I fell in love with this book, Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. I think that was like the first book that I read since getting back to reading. And it's by, please forgive me if I say her last name wrong, but Emma Torres. I'll have it on the screen somewhere. But yes, that book, I recommend that book to everybody. And I feel like nobody be listening to me. So hopefully this channel, the people who tune in, my friends, because we're friends here, please listen to me. This is a good book. I need to reread it since it's been 2 years now since reading again. My taste is probably like a little different. Maybe I wouldn't say too far off from when I first started, but I probably should do a vlog where I read it again and like, you know, do my reaction. But I just don't think that my opinion is about to change. That book was so good. That book was so good to me. Like, it had me hooked. I think I read it in like a day and a half. If I ever recommend any book to anybody, it's gonna be that one. But yes, that's the book that made me fall in love with reading. Next question is, what's your toxic reading trait? Okay, so my toxic reading trait is going ghost on a book, picking it up like 2 weeks later, and then binge reading it once I finally pick it up. And this could be a book that I DNF'd, by the way. Like, it could be a book that I felt like was absolute trash, that I had no interest in. I am a Virgo, and I am also a perfectionist, and it's something about leaving something just open that makes me not be the DNF type of girl. Like, I don't know why, I just can't DNF a book like that. So yeah, but I will be the type to like put it down and then a week or two later binge it in one night. I'm not kidding you. Stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning binging the rest of the book. That's probably my reading toxic trait. Next question is, what genre do you want to love but you just can't get into? Okay, I have 2 answers for this. A lot of people probably can agree with this. Self-help and wellness. I probably should, like I said, get into it. There's some things that, you know, I could probably work on. But I just get so bored with that, and I just have yet, like, there's a couple on my bookshelf right now that I gotten to like page 2 or 3 in, so not for me. This one might get some hate, but hear me out. I am not a lit fic girly. I am not a lit fic girly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know that there's the girlies out there that will attest and proclaim and do all the things against anyone who doesn't like lit fic and try to make you seem like you're not a smart person, you don't know how to read, yada yada yada. If I open the book up and I read it from cover to cover, I'm a reader. If I listen to it, I'm a reader. You're not elite just because you read lit fic. You know what I'm saying? Like contemporary fiction and all of that jazz, or like nonfiction to fiction. There's no competition when it comes to reading. If you're reading, you're kind of probably above the rest of the categories. Like, so many people do not read. So if I want to use my brain cells outside of work and life and whatever else is going on in the world, right, to just decompress and enjoy myself and have a great time, then that's what I'm gonna do. I have recently tried 2 lit fics, right? Since I've started reading. I tried Ministry of Time and I tried Catabasis, right? If Ministry of Time is really even in that category, I think it is, but I know Catabasis is. Again, I could understand what I was reading, right? I could use context clues for words that I might not be familiar with, but at the end of the day, I don't want to have to use my brain every time I read. And I'm not judging someone who does, right? I know that some people really do enjoy the academia side of things, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I'm not an annotator, right? But I know that there's a huge community of people who love annotating their books, right? I'm not that type of person to just like dive into a book like that necessarily, if that makes sense. And I say that to say that when I read lit fic, I don't necessarily need all the extra big words and, oh, this is gonna sound so bad, I feel like I'm gonna get canceled with it, or not make sense. If I don't make sense, just skip ahead or leave me be. For example, with Catabasis, there was a lot to that book. It was very dense, that's the word. I don't necessarily want to trudge through the density of a book to get to the plot, to get to the character development, to get to the climax, to get to the conclusion. Do you get what I'm saying? I would like to just enjoy the book. I appreciate the artistry. I don't necessarily need that all the time. You get what I'm saying? And I think lit fic, there's a huge focus on the artistry of writing, right? And less of a focus on just having fun. So I'm gonna be the girly that is okay with a couple mistakes in a book because it just made me laugh and it made me smile and it gave me giggles and made me kick my feet or gave me emotions and made me like really care about the characters, right? And I find that maybe I just need to give it a better try, like I said, with this question, you know, that I want to get into it. It's just the ones that I've gotten into, it was too much that I had to digest, if that makes sense, to have me focused. I think it's the ADHD in me. I'm sorry. Don't cancel me, please. Next question. What genre owns your soul? Fantasy, romantasy, urban fantasy, fantasy. I just love to escape to different worlds, places that I've never been in my mind. And that one is gonna do it for me every time. What's the most embarrassing book you genuinely enjoyed? Oh my God. I don't know. Okay, yes. I will say I am slightly embarrassed that I love this book. It's not to say that the girls who love it are wrong. Die-hard fans of this series. I know it's one of those top series, but the Magnolia Park series, I'm a little ashamed to say that I loved it. I read every book. I did. But hear me out. I am a reality TV lover. I loved Gossip Girl. I definitely read the Clueless books when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure that's what's called, the Clueless series. So it's kind of probably up my alley. Also Daisy, her book saved it for me. Because I probably would have stopped at Magnolia Park. I'm not going to lie, but her books definitely saved it for me. Next question. What's a reading habit that would get you kicked out of a serious book club? Skipping to the end and skimming the pages. I do not like surprises. I like to be in control. Something about not knowing the ending of things gives me anxiety, but I love it. But I am the type, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, I find a little thrill in skipping to the end sometimes, reading the last 2 pages, not knowing a clue what they mean, because most books, the last 2 pages don't like reveal anything super crazy anyways. Going to like where I was at and then reading the rest of the book and then the last 2 pages making sense. I don't know why, I just love doing that. I love doing it for thrillers and I love doing it for fantasy, mostly fantasy, because the last couple pages probably aren't going to tell me like what, like it's not going to spoil anything in a sense, like the last 2. It's always interesting to see where my mind thinks the ending went and then actually getting to the ending and be like, oh, the dots, they're connecting. You know what I'm saying? That's my toxic trait. I don't know why I do that. But am I gonna stop? I don't know. Next question is, what instantly makes you pick up a book? For this one, I have, if the FMC is like a bad bleep, if the FMC is someone who is like about her stuff, she's tough, she's rough, she can kick butt, I love that. And then next question says, what instantly makes you put a book down? Trigger warning. It's way too much going on in the world for me to dive into a book that has traumatic stuff in it. I can't do it. Like, my brain can't comprehend it at that time. Like, there's so much traumatic crap going on outside of the world. I don't want the trauma brought back into my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that I can fully process trauma in a book. I don't know. I just stay away from it. Like, if a book has anything in there where it's like, you know, I don't want to eventually get my video taken down for saying the words, but I don't like it. The Colleen Hoover series, like all her books, not series, but the books that she writes, I can't get into them. Can't get into them. I've had books where I don't even see the trigger warning and I end up reading it and then I DNF. That is something that I would truly DNF for, like, and not pick the book back up again, because I just can't do it. So that is the one thing that is like, put it down, take it away, don't recommend, no. Next question says, what's your favorite trope? So my favorite trope is second chance or friends to lovers. I probably put second chance as first, and then I just had friends to lovers as like a second hand, but I love second chance stories. I don't know. I think I am also like a person who like tries to see the good in people and stuff like that. So to see second chance in books, I feel like, especially in a society where we're so fast to write off people, it just gives me the warm and fuzzies. And then friends to lovers, I love a good friends to lovers story. Friendship should be the foundation to any relationship anyway, so why not? I'm the type that will see 2 friends and never think it's platonic. Could it happen? Maybe, possibly, but I don't believe it. I'm gonna ship you. Do you judge books by covers? Not really, but I understand that covers do make a cute bookshelf, so I guess. What's your comfort read? The Skyline series. Kennedy. I need to get more into her books. Like, I haven't read anything else. I don't want to be disappointed because I have heard mixed reviews about every other series, but the Skyland series, oh my gosh. Trust me, from the first one to the last one, good. Girl, Kennedy, you did your thing. Next question is, are you a mood reader or a strict TBR person? I'm definitely a mix. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a mood reader, but I have to want to read that book at that specific time. Okay, that kind of sounds like mood reader. I'm not like a trope mood reader, and I'm not like a genre mood. Am I lying on camera? Okay, let me start over. I am a genre mood reader in the sense that I typically love to read fantasy. I need to get out of that. And I used to only read romance heavy. I've gotten out of this. But when it comes to like, if it's in those genres that I like and I pick it up, then it's what I'm going to read for that time period. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like specifically being like a mood reader, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Am I a stick to a TBR person? Kind of. Like, I have to finish my TBR. I don't see myself being the type of person with a lengthy TBR. That may change, but like, I don't see that being me at the current moment. I'm kind of like one of the person that has to like check all the boxes. Like, it needs to be cleaned off, you know? I guess neither to both of those questions. The next question says, physical books, Kindle, or audiobooks? I used to be a hardcore physical girly. Now it's Kindle. I swore that I wasn't gonna get a Kindle. Mind you, I have an iPad mini, and I will say I love this. Could I see myself getting a Kindle at some point? Yes. But at the moment, I absolutely adore my iPad mini. I gave my sister my bigger iPad and then went and got this one, and it has everything on it that I need. But I will say that, like, as someone who obviously, you know, isn't 20/20 vision, and I have experienced vision loss, it probably isn't best on my eyes. So that's one thing that I should probably prioritize, is to get a Kindle, just because of like eye safety and stuff. But love my iPad mini. Say that all to say that, like, since getting this, I have exponentially gotten back into reading. Like, if it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't have. Why? Because I am heavy on Libby. Each year I've read almost 50 books, right? So 2024 I read 45. 2025 I think I read 45 or 46. So I read a lot, not like huge amount, but I read more than the average like person. I don't think that I would be able to do that if it wasn't for Libby. Is it in my budget to spend however many, that's like $800, right? Because like books these days range between $15 to $20. 40 books, yeah, 40 times 20, that's like 800. Do I want to spend that much a year? No. I think that we should patron our libraries, right? I think that we should support them. We should still read and get books from the library, and I do that. So yeah, Libby has been the best thing ever, and the way to read off Libby is push my books to Kindle. So yeah, I'm heavy in it now, but I used to be hardcore. Like, I would never read out of Kindle. What defeats the purpose? It's not a book. It's weird. I used to think that until I got it, and now I know. And now I know. Nope. Kindle me all day long. Next question is, what's your reading setup / vibe? My bed, the couch. My bed or the couch. 9 times out of 10, my bed. I am busy. I am a busy girl, and I do like have a lot of things going on in life. So 9 times out of 10, when I do read, it is at night. It is before bed. But yeah, my bed is like my favorite place to read at. It is. I would love to get like a chair in my like office, you know, and make like a reading section and nook here. But at the moment, I don't have that yet. And 9 times out of 10, the chair that I want is gonna pretty much mimic how my bed feels. My bed is my favorite place to read. What's the longest reading slump you've had? Years. Okay, years. Like I said, I stopped after high school, so freshman year. So that was like 11 years ago that I went into college. 11 years ago. 11 years, sorry, since I, like, in between from me starting. It'll be like 13 years now, but 11 years was the time span that it went from me not reading, which is so long, especially when you think about, I used to read nonstop, like check out 5 books at a time. So to think that I went that long without reading again is kind of crazy, but I'm not stopping again. Okay, we keeping this thing going. Hustlers don't stop, they keep going. Anyways, cut. Which popular book did not work for you? I will, again, probably get canceled for this, but I'm going to die on this hill. I'm sorry. I hated The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I hated that book. And it kind of ties back into my don't like triggers, right? Trigger warning. Nobody told me that something traumatic happened to her in that book. I do not like DV. So, yes, I finished it. I did. Again, back to my toxic traits. When it comes to reading, I did finish it. Did I enjoy it? No. And it's still the lowest rated book for me. I don't know. I couldn't even get past that. Like, yeah, I just did not like it. I hated the main character. I know that a lot of people find joy in that. I know that people find that the reader did a great job sometimes when they leave having strong emotions about the main character, when they leave having strong emotions about the main character, right? But for me, that wasn't enough for me. Yes, you made me feel, and I have books that I've read that I love, that I hated the main character. But that book, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the different point of views between Evelyn and I forgot her name, but the young woman who, because it's been 2 years since I've read it, but the young woman who actually did the interviews, I feel like her side of the story was rushed, and then the connection was kind of like thrown in there at the end. I don't know. It's just a couple of things that I just felt like just didn't do it for me. So if I had one book that just did not work for me, it's definitely that one. And I have still yet to read a book that I didn't like as much as that one. And I've read stuff that I don't like. Next question is, if someone wanted to understand me as a reader, what 3 books would I hand them? Okay, so we're going Before I Let Go, Kennedy Ryan. Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe, of course, we just went there. And the last one that I have is Assistant to the Villain, and I'll explain. So I've already explained why Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. I still have that as my top book. 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. Before I Let Go, Kennedy Ryan. Oh my gosh. I used to only read romance, pretty much, like romance and romantasy. Growing up, that was all I used to read, right? And I barely got into romantasy. Like, I got into it, if you want to call Twilight. You get what I'm saying? Divergent. You get what I'm saying? City of Bones. That was it. Does Hunger Games count? Maybe. That dystopian stuff, that was it, right? I didn't necessarily read romance coming into reading again. I kept pretty much mostly to fantasy to start off. And I think Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe had a lot to do with that. Like, I just got so hooked with that book that I just wanted to keep going. When I finally did give romance a try, it was Before I Let Go. And that was a great way to start. Kennedy Ryan does such a good job. And I know people say this all the time, so I don't need to say it again. But she does such a good job at discussing real life scenarios, problems, issues that a lot of people don't even really talk about too much. And you definitely don't get it a lot in books, right? That the average couple, the average woman, the average man goes through, right? That it's not necessarily taboo to talk about, and it isn't necessarily unhealthy either, but it's just something that we don't discuss, right? That you can relate to, and you read it and you're just like, no, it's stuff that for example, I'm married, right? It's stuff that as a married woman, you don't want to go talk to your family and friends about, because you don't want them to judge or make opinions or be biased about the situation because they love you, right? And vice versa, right? Or sometimes it's hard to hear the truth from someone else that you love. It's just hard for us to hear things that we need to hear at that moment. Meanwhile, a book can do a very good job of giving you what you needed at the time that you need it most, right? Not to say that I needed that story at that time, but it just was very timely because I was just about to get married, and to see in a book a marriage that went through a low and then came back and circled around and went through a high and came back together stronger than ever. It was a great book at that time in my life to prepare me for what I felt like was about to be the biggest commitment that I was going to make in my entire lifetime, right? To put into perspective what marriage means and what it looks like to have a healthy marriage and to go through something and to come back better than ever. You get what I'm saying? I just feel like even though I wasn't going through that at that time, it was really good to see that played out. And the love story was just real. Like I said, I love second chance stories, and it was top tier. Kennedy, you did your thing. You did your big one. So the next one on this list that you're gonna be like, huh, when I explain this, next one and the final one is Assistant to the Villain, and that is by Hannah Nicole. I'm not gonna mess up her last name. I'm just gonna put it on the screen somewhere. But Hannah Nicole, girl. Yes. So would this book be a 5-star for me? No, not by far. If I had to rate it on the spot, it would honestly be teetering between 2.5 and 3. I know that sounds bad. That sounds really low. And let me not speak out of turn, but I do feel like this is one of her debut novels. I struggled so hard getting into this book. You want to know what kept me and why it's on this list? Is because of the fact that she puts so much real talk, there's passages in here, and if I find them, I will put them on the screen that just really spoke to me. The FMC Evie, That is me. And the more I read it and the deeper you get into the series, the more I'm like, that's me. That is me. She is me. There's parts where like the author Hannah, she talks about how Evie like hides all of her true emotions and her feelings behind a smile. She never really lets people know just how like upset she is, hurt she is, anything like that, right? She always smiling, putting on a brave face, right? That is me. It was like moments when she's talking about the FMC just reading me for filth. Okay, and I'm just relating to the FMC so much that I could not put this book down here. Like I have read through all the books, and I cannot wait till August when the next one comes out. And I'm telling you, none of the books have gotten over a 3-star for me, but I can't not stop reading so I can see what happens to my girl. No, I don't necessarily care about the romance. I do feel like the comedic aspect that I feel like a lot of people love, I don't click with that well. It doesn't necessarily make me giggle as much. There's a few moments, but like in the whole series, it's only been like 2 or 3 that's made me giggle. I do, when I'm not like fully into a book, I do this skimming thing. Toxic book trait. I've skimmed a little too much within these books. A lot of it doesn't like hold me and grasp me in. Now, book 1, that twist at the end, Hannah, you did do your big one with that one. Hannah, you got me with that twist at the end. That twist at the end was so good. Oh, and okay, so maybe I should revisit my score, because another part that I really love is getting to know each of the characters through the way that we travel back to their home countries and get revealed each time who their like family members are. That's actually really cool. I do enjoy that. And I actually do like all of the characters in the book. I just don't necessarily feel like the MMC isn't like, he isn't like, yes, love that. That's a man right there. That's a true king right there. He doesn't really give me that. You get what I'm saying? And the FMC, I love her because I relate to her. Like, I just feel like we're kindred spirits. You get what I'm saying? But she doesn't also make me go like, yeah, that's my girl. Like, I would ride so hard for those characters. No, they don't really give me that. And then like the challenge that they're trying to achieve, I feel like there's some plot holes. And they might get wrapped up in the last book, but I don't know. Like, it just, without spoiling the book, I feel like the villain doesn't make enough sense to me as to why he's the villain yet. And I know it's probably coming, so I might eat my words, but it's just a lot of the pieces that aren't like really clicking for me. But if you want to get to know me, read her. Read Evie. She's me. I am her. We are one. So that's why she's on this list. Next question is, if your reading taste had a warning label, what would it say? I said sweet on the outside, deadly on the inside. That is my reading taste. When it comes to reading, I would say I'm sweet on the inside and sweet on the outside. I'm sweet everywhere. But when it comes to reading, I love a good, like, I don't know, it sounds bad, but like war. I love a good book where they're really fighting for something. I love a good book where there's like something outside of the romance aspect, like that I'm rooting for. I love rooting for someone. I also love thrillers, and it's crazy because all of the things that I love in books, I hate in TV. I can't watch a thriller like that. Like, I can kind of get in psychological thrillers, but I do not like thrillers. I do not like scary. I do not like horror, but I could read it. I don't necessarily all the time get into like fantasy shows, but I can read it. Something about that, like, I just love a good action-packed novel. Love it. Yes, so that's my reading taste. And then, since getting back into reading, what books would you recommend? I think a couple I've already said. Of course, Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. That must be like tattooed on my head at this point. Yeah, that's Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe is like up there for me, obviously. But I also love the Legend Board series. Like, that series was so good. I was hooked. That was actually the second book I got into when I started back reading again, and I just cleared that series. Another one, this is a thriller. It's called Honeysuckle and Bone, and it's by Trisha Tobias. That book was actually really good. Honeysuckle and Bone is a book by a Black author, and it was so good. So if you like thrillers, that's a good recommendation. And lastly, anything S.A. Crosby. So his books are really good. Yeah, and he's another one in the thriller space. So those are books that I would recommend if I was just like getting back into reading. Last question was, What book felt like it was written specifically for you? These are, again, 2 books that aren't 5 stars. I've already said one, of course, Assistant to the Villain, but the second one is Better Than the Movies. That wasn't 5 stars for me, but it was really good, and I just felt like the love story between the 2 characters, and I just felt connected to the 2 characters. That was another one where there was passages in there that I just felt like, wow, I've never had anybody like fully explain how I feel, or been able to myself explain how I feel, and then here comes this book and it perfectly explains exactly how I feel. Like, here goes the pages, like I'm going to my husband like, this is how I feel, this is what I be saying. If I had to say they were written specific, like books that were written specifically for me, it would be probably those 2. I mean, the whole time I'm reading them, like, what, did I say that? Had to be me. Did I write these? Probably. It's so cool. It's so cool to have those moments when you're reading. But yeah. And then also, like I said, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I just love that book. And probably like, if it came to a fantasy one, it would probably be like the Fourth Wing Iron Flame series. Yeah. Love the romance, love the fantasy. Has all the things, action packed and all of that stuff. But like, just really good storyline. So yeah. All right, guys, that wraps it up for today's video. Thank you for taking some time to get to know me. I hope you guys stay a while. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For today's comment, I'm gonna go with, what is your favorite novel? Like, I need some good recommendations. So since you've been reading or getting back into reading, what is your favorite novel? And also tell me, what are you looking forward to with this channel? Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more cozy vibes, reading catch-ups, and all the things. All right, guys, bye.